to Gaga Knits. My name's Anita and this is where I like to share my knitting, sewing and other crafts with you. I hope you've all been well. I'm sorry it's been a few weeks since I did a video, but it's the summer holidays and as some of you may know, I look after my grandsons in the school holidays. So I work 3 days and I have I have the 2 boys for 2 days. And it's just been quite busy. At the beginning of the school holidays, Martin and I went to Ireland on the ferry to visit our friends. We did that for a week, that was very nice. And we've also taken the boys away for a caravan holiday for a week, and we've had days out with them. We've taken them strawberry picking and flower picking, and on the weekends when I haven't got them, I've just been doing the usual housework and things like that, gardening. So I haven't had enough time to do a video, although I have been crafting. And this last week, I haven't had the boys at all. And I've also done some sewing, which is really exciting for me because I've got this lovely craft room and I haven't been able to use it yet. And this settee folds down into a bed. So one of our grandsons sleeps in here when they stay. So I haven't had much of a chance until this week to really use it. And it's been great. I have put my 2 Kallax units on their side and I'm using that as a cutting table, which is excellent. And I've got my sewing table there and I can leave the ironing board set up, and it really is helping with my sewing. But let me start off with my knitting projects. So firstly, while we were going to the ferry, so we went from Fishguard to Rosslare, and we had to drive down to the ferry, and then you have to wait in a queue before you can get on the ferry, and then the ferry crossing takes several hours. So I wanted a simple project to take with me, so I decided to make a couple of new dishcloths. Now I get these patterns from the kitchen sink. Every month you get a free dishcloth knitting pattern and recipes this year as well. And all you do, I think, is just sign up to her newsletter for free and you get these different patterns. Now this one is the Appletaart dishcloth, and it's meant to be using worsted weight cotton, and I didn't have worsted. I bought this cotton, DK cotton Emu in a lovely green, my favourite green. And so the first one I did to the pattern instructions, so I used a 3.25mm needle and I cast on 40 stitches and you do the pattern, and it came out this small because it should have been worsted. Then I tried to knit with 2 strands together, but I didn't like that, that was far too thick. So then I just cast on 60 stitches and did 80 rows, and it came out just following, keeping the pattern. And it came out that size, which I'm much happier with. And I've got quite a bit left, 45 grams left, so I could make another one of these. So there's quite a difference in the size, but just by adding a few stitches. But I do like these knitted dishcloths. I have got a few, but every now and then I throw them away because they get a bit smelly. If they don't dry too quickly or quickly enough, they can get a bit smelly. Especially I drape them over the tap to dry, but not everyone in the house does, so sometimes they're left in a little soggy pile. But I do enjoy knitting those as a quick project, so that's what I did when we were on the ferry. But more excitingly, I finished my penny jumper, and here it is. This is a pattern by Tin Can Knits, and I love this. I did put it on, this is why I look so hot and flushed, to do a little video to show you. And I knit it in the gift. Let's have a look. I've got my notes here. So the yarn is from the knitting gift shop, and I bought it at Wonderwall, and it doesn't have a colourway. Let's see. I've got a ball of it here. It is 100% organic Falklands merino. It's really nice and soft, and I shall put a video in now when I'm talking about it. So you've got a lace front and a lace back, and it's got a very unusual construction, and then you've got a lace panel running up the sleeve, and it is knitted in the round, and there's a lot of purl stitching, so if you don't like purl stitching, it's probably not one for you. And you have to knit it, let's see what we do. You knitted the sleeves first and put them on waste yarn, then you knitted in the round from the bottom up, then joined the sleeves and the body together, and then I think you knitted back and forth to do the v-neck. Can't remember now, I wrote it down in my project notes. But anyway, if you wanted the pattern, it is a paid for pattern. I did the cropped version, and I did a size 40 because I wanted a little bit of give in it, and I really liked it. I used 305 grams of the yarn, and I bought 4 skeins, so I have 96 grams left with this ball here. And I had in my stash, I have got lots of balls of this Drops Merino ultra fine, and I thought they go nicely together, and I thought I'd like to do a colour work jumper. This is DK. The main colour is this, and then any of the colour work, just using this, not lots of different colours, so that the changing colours in this yarn will just make the yoke. I've wanted to do something like that for ages, and this was the original yarn I bought to make the penny jumper, but I didn't like the way it looked. It looked too plain, just using a solid colour. So I've got enough to make another jumper with that, but that isn't my next jumper. I've already cast on the next one, and I really wanted to have a black jumper for winter, but knitting a black garment in the winter is not a good idea, so I thought I'd do it now while we're still getting quite a bit of sunshine. And I am making the Rosery jumper by Jenna from Rosery Apparel, and I have had this pattern in my pattern file for a long time. You can get it for free by signing up to her newsletter, and it's quite an oversized cropped vintage jumper, but I think by vintage she means 80s, maybe 90s, I don't know, but it's got a nice scalloped pattern, and it's on straight needles, and I really fancy, I've got lots of circular needles, I could have knit it straight on there, but I fancied some straight needles to do it, so I have bought some Symphony, Knit Pro Symphonies, and I'm just on the ribbing. I think I've got a couple, I think I've got about half an inch more to do, and then it's quite a deep rib, and then I can start the pattern. And I am making the size 34 inch because I am more of a 38 inch bust, but I think it was 34, and then it went up to I think it was 38, or was it 42? But it's very baggy, and I didn't want it to be too big. So I'm making that for myself. I can knit that in the daytime when there's enough light. And I bought this bag in Wonderwall the year before. Quite like it because you can put it over your arm. I can slide the pattern in there, and then the yarn in there. So these are my new needles I treated myself to. And when we were in Ireland, my friend really wanted me to make her a pair of socks. So I thought I'd make her a pair for Christmas. So I put it in this Christmassy bag that I had from Crafty Creations. I have made her draw a template of her foot because she isn't with me to try them on. She's a size 7, and I'm trying to use from stash. So I have this yarn here, which is called Vibrant Iris, and it's from Attica Spin Dye, and was in the skein and I had to ball it up, and every now and then you get a skein that just tangles and won't cooperate and ball up nicely, and it took me 2 evenings to untangle it and wind it up, and in the end I had to split it into 3 because I got these 2 all right, and then there was this mass knot in the middle, so I had to just cut it. But I'm hoping I can get the pair of socks out of this, and I'm going to have a 10-gram skein to go in my jar of 10-gram minis, and if I've got any more left I will put it into my crochet granny stripe blanket, so there'll be no wastage. And I'm also going to keep a little bit in a tin. I've started to keep little just a couple of grams of each yarn that I make a garment or socks from in a tin, so that should anything unravel or I need to do any repairs, I've got a tin with the correct yarn in it. I don't know if anyone else does that, and I don't know, I haven't thought of it before, but I thought, well, that's a good idea, just do that. And if I never use them, it doesn't matter, but it's very useful if someone skags their jumper, or me probably, because I'm really clumsy. So anyway, I'm using that, and I wanted it to be something quite simple, so I started using this free pattern. So it's the West Yorkshire Spinners Candy Cane Sock, but obviously I have made these, but I'm not using that yarn, I'm using this. And as she's got a size 7 foot and her foot's quite wide, she said, I cast on the 72 stitches on 2.5, and I've done a certain amount, and it's going to be way too big. It's really stretches wide. That's far too big for her. And although the colours in the yarn are beautiful, I don't really like it. It's just a plain sock. I think it's a little bit boring. So I have 2 other pattern ideas, since I'm going to undo it anyway because it's too big. And in this little festive knits sort of Let's Knit supplement, there's a pair of socks in there that I thought were quite nice. They've got a little bit of lace work on them, so not too detailed, because with the yarn being so busy, I don't see the point of doing something really intricate that you can't see. So I thought that might be quite nice. Or I might do the Wands socks by Potter and Bloom. This also I think might look quite nice in that yarn. And I've made these before as well. And you're meant to use Drops Nord, which she says is a plumper 4-ply to make a cozy pair of socks. And this 4-ply is finer. And she also says to use 2.25 needles, but I was going to use 2.5. So I am leaning more towards this one, but I'm thinking maybe do it in 2.5, and I'll just see how I go. Oh, and I think I want to do an eye of partridge heel because I think it would look nice in that yarn. Any thoughts? Let me know what you think. I'm not very good at changing up things, and I usually just stick to what it says to do. They're the experts, not me. And I also have another little finish. Where have I put it? Let me just go and find it to show you. I actually finished the punch needle kit. I didn't enjoy doing this at all. Here it is. I put it in a little embroidery hoop, and I've put some wadding in it and then some felt on the back, and I will hang it up somewhere. It's not too bad. It's just, it wasn't for me. I've given it a go, and you can't like every craft, can you? But hats off to people who do this, because it takes greater skill than I have and greater patience. But I'm happy I finished that, and now I can enter that into Anne from No Excuses podcast. She's doing a make-along, and I can take some photos of that and enter it. So it was all worthwhile, and I'll hang it up in my room somewhere. I will give you a proper full tour of the room when I've completely finished it. I still want to do something with the cutting table. I want to put it on casters and get that finished. And one or two of the drawers are sort of still junk drawers. Try and do a little sort out every day. I'm getting there, but not quite yet. And on to sewing. So I've done a few sewing projects. So once I turned the Kallax units onto their side and had the cutting table, I haven't sewn for quite a while, and I was thinking I'm going to cut out some projects. I'm going to revisit some patterns I've used before. So I cut out the Safiya Trousers by Tilly and the Buttons, and also the Jenny Cardigan by Muse Patterns. I think it's Muse Patterns. And I thought I'd sew those up. So firstly I did the trousers that I'm wearing now, and they are in this book, Make It Simple. And I just wanted some loose, comfy trousers that I could wear around the house when I'm at home, because I always put tracksuit bottoms on and they're getting a bit scruffy. Some of them have got paint on and things from where I've been doing other things. So I wanted some just loose trousers, and my measurements come up that I should do the size 5. Now I did this size 5 and they were huge. I did extend the leg. I wanted a 29-inch leg, so they'd be full length, because this is the Safiya dungarees, but they're sort of a long cropped, so I did extend them, but all around the middle and the crotch area was huge. So I took out 5/8 of an inch all around the crotch and re-sewed it. So they're still big, but they're more comfortable, and they're all right for around the house. There's only 2 sewing pattern pieces, a front and a back, and then the waistband is, you just fold it and put some elastic in the back, and the front part is just straight. So they're very easy to do, very good to get me back into sewing. So I did enjoy making them, and like I say, they're great for around the house. And then the cardigan is the Jenna cardigan from Muse Patterns, and that's a PDF. So I cut out all the pieces, and it's jersey, and both of these fabrics that I've used are from my stash, but I'll have a look to see if I can find actually what they are. I mean, you probably won't be able to buy them now, but I think the trousers were viscose linen, I'm not sure. And then the cardi here, this is what I've done so far. So you can have 2 lengths, a waist length or a cropped, and I'm going for the cropped. And then you put a nice big thick waistband on the bottom. And I've done the 3/4 sleeves, and you've got a nice sort of pleating. Well, you gather this part of the front bodice into the yoke, and that gives a nice look. And this is, well, it's jersey, but it's like a sweatshirting, because it's got the backing on. It's quite nice to sew with, to get back into sewing, because it sticks to itself, so it's not slipping around. And I managed to get all the pieces out of 1 metre of fabric, so I was quite pleased with that. I haven't done that before, where you've sort of got to lay everything out and try and fit it all on. So I have got enough to make a cardigan out of 1 metre, so hopefully I'll finish that soon. So I'm sort of halfway through, and I'm just taking my time, and I'm overlocking everything. I'm really enjoying sewing. It's so nice now that I can leave things out and half finished, which is very good. And I've got a little table cupboard over there. Well, you can't see, but I'll put a little clip of it in. And it's got a drop leaf table, and you can lift it up, and I can keep my things on there. And it's just, I love this room. So nice. And my son is very happy in his house, so this was his room, but it's really nice having a craft room. And I've also been buying a few things. I have bought a new book, and it is from a website called Sew Me Something, and she's also got some YouTube videos, and that's where I saw a video, and then I went to buy her book. and it's called Sewing for the Soul by Jules Fallon. And it says there, the inside you've got simple sewing patterns and recipes, and it's she split it between the seasons, and there's loads of patterns, and there's so many. I've put all the pattern pieces in one of these poly pockets to put in my sewing patterns drawer instead of keeping them in the back, because there is a little hold at the back. But there was a piece missing for the coat pattern, so they put extra pattern pieces in. So I thought, well, I'll keep them all together. But there's loads of patterns in here. I mean, there's a shirt dress, a woven tee, an embroidered tee, palazzo pants, a sheared summer top, cami and shorts, oversized shirt, classic t-shirt, a winter coat, drawstring trousers, Christmas stocking, loads and loads of patterns and recipes as well. So I thought, I mean, I'm going to have a go at making the coat. I've never made a coat before, but I'm going to have a go at that. And classic t-shirt. And this book's £10. So, I mean, I had to have it. Look, I like the shirt dress as well. So I'm going to make a few of those. It says simple sewing patterns, so I should be able to do them. And I also bought this necklace. It's got little scissors on it, so I'm very happy with that. And then I also bought from Truro Fabrics some fabric. This is viscose crepe. I've got 2.8 meters, and it's called 60s Floral. I've washed this twice now because I always wash my fabrics like I'm told, so I did wash it, and the weather wasn't very nice, so I draped it over my clothes horse in the conservatory. We've got this little sort of lean-to conservatory on the back of the house. Left the door open, and the next day I thought, well, I'll get that in now and iron it, but you don't need to iron it. And when I went to take it off the clothes horse, I thought, what's that on the top of my fabric? And a bird must have flown in and got stuck in the conservatory, pooped on my new fabric and flown out. So I had to clean that off and rewash it, and I was worried it might stain because the ammonia in bird poop, but I've had a good check and there isn't anywhere. I'd have been quite annoyed because it was right in the middle as well. But I've got this fabric, and my plan was to make this dress. It's the Butterick B5030, and I quite liked view D with the collar, or maybe view C, but I'm thinking I should perhaps go with sleeves because our non-summer is going now into autumn anyway. But now I've changed my mind, because once I saw the fabric, I thought it's lovely and autumnal. I really fancy making a sort of swooshy dress with balloon sleeves, sort of 3/4 balloon sleeves, and maybe a little tie neck, but I don't know what pattern. So if you can suggest a pattern for me, please do. I've got 2.8 meters, so yes, I fancy something a bit swishy and swooshy with that, and a nice pair of boots. Thought that would be good. So I've been rather busy really, haven't I? I thought I wouldn't have very much, but I've been slowly plugging away at my jumper, and that's sometimes a few projects all come together at the same time, and then you have a few finishes, and then obviously I've got some new starts, and I've got some other fabric over there from my stash that I want to make a blouse with. But obviously sewing takes a lot longer than, well, knitting takes longer, but it's easier to sit and watch telly and knit and just take it with you and things. With sewing, you really need to give yourself a chunk of time and come up into your craft room if you're lucky enough to have one, spend a few hours at that. So yes, I've got a few things to be getting on with, and if you could let me know what you've been up to this summer. Have you been away? What have you been doing? And what have you been making? That'd be nice to hear from you. I always like to hear what everyone else has been up to. And I will hopefully see you very soon. Take care, happy crafting, and bye for now.